today's lesson is lesson 4-6, multiply decimals using partial products. I can multiply decimals using partial products and models. Pause the video now to write the lesson number, title, and I can statement in your math notebooks. Press play when you're ready to continue. Today's problem is Julie has 5/10 of her backyard set up for growing vegetables. Of the vegetable area, 4/10 has bell peppers in it. What part of the backyard contains bell peppers? I first want to start with cubes. I want to first circle the numbers I'm working with. I have 5/10 and I have 4/10. Next, I want to underline the question. Since this is kind of smaller print, I'm just going to underline here, but I know that this area here is my question. What part of the backyard contains bell peppers? Next, I want to box the keywords. I think some of the keywords in this is of the vegetable area. Which one has bell peppers in it? And then also, what part of the backyard contains bell peppers? Now, I want to think about this problem and evaluate how I'm going to solve. First of all, when I evaluate this, I'm working with my hundreds grid to solve the problem using partial products. To do this, since the problem has 5/10, I kind of want to thinking that I need to convert that into hundreds since I'm working with my 100 grid. So I know that 5/10 is also equal to 50 hundredths. I know that 4/10 is equal to 40 hundredths. Remember, adding 0 after the number in a decimal does not change the value. It just changes the way we say it and the way we look at it when it comes to place value. So now I want to work with hundredths. The first thing I want to think about is we has 50 hundredths or 5/10 of her backyard to do the garden. So that means that that is also 50 over 100, and I know that that would be half her yard. So her half of yard would be right here. Half of her yard is vegetables. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So 10 times 5 is 50. So I know the part that I squared off is the part for her vegetables. Next, 4/10 of that area is made for bell peppers. But since I'm working with my hundreds grid, I want to convert my 4/10 decimals into hundredths like I did here. So now I'm working with 40 out of 100 squares. So now that will be 1, 2, 3, 4. And then I'm going to draw my line here because I know that that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That is my 40 hundredths. But this is the area all in here that now contains all bell peppers. It's the common area of the 50 hundredths and the 4/10, this area here. So that would be the visual representation or my model to explain what part of her backyard is bell peppers. To solve this, to see if I'm right, I would use the multiplication problem of 4/10 times 5/10 to equal 20 hundredths or 2/10 of her yard would be bell peppers. Let's check my work. 40 tenths times 5 tenths. 4 times 5 is 20. Bring over my 2. 0 times 5 is 0, plus 2 is 20. 0 times 4 is 0. 0 times 0 is 0. I want to add them together. I have my decimal over one place here, another place here, which is 1, 2 places. 1, 2, brought down to make my answer 2 tenths, or we read that as 20 hundredths. Either way, the value is the same. Let's look at other students' work. This is Natalia's work. In Natalia's work, we can see she solved it pretty similar to how I did. She shaded it differently, but you can see that she first filled in half of the yard with 5 tenths, and then she shaded in 4 tenths of the whole yard, representing the bell peppers. But then we take that common area of vegetables with specifically the bell peppers to get our problem and to solve it. So 4 tenths times the 5 tenths, which is half the yard, equals 2 hundredths, or 20 hundredths, I guess. 20 hundredths of the yard is bell peppers. The next sample of work is Victor's. Take a second to look at Victor's work. Is his work correct? We can see that he started off using 5 tenths for the yard times 4 tenths for the vegetables. I guess more specifically the bell peppers. And he put a B because he wasn't sure of the answer. He did his multiplication, but what do you notice that he forgot to do? He forgot to replace his decimals back into his answer. And since we had 5 tenths times 4 tenths, again, we move the decimal one place to the middle, since we're working with decimals, another place here. So we're not working with whole numbers anymore. We're working with decimals, so we would need to move our decimal place 2 places here to make it 20 hundredths, or 2 tenths. Now I want you to think about your work. How did you solve the problem? Were you right or were you incorrect? Remember, it doesn't matter if you're incorrect. It just matters that you're learning as you go. Be ready to share your work tomorrow, and don't forget to write that summary in words and sentences explaining your thinking.